it reminded me that I really enjoy theology of the body because it reminded me that we are gifts, and in a world that encourages people to use one another, it has been so instrumental in reminding me of that truth that I am a gift and the people around me are gifts. And a lot of things, good things follow, a lot of pure intentions follow from there. Also, I love the message that our body reveals God, because I've always observed, how we hug one another, how our bodies just, how our hands can intertwine. So it really reveals how much love the Lord has for us. Yun lang. Thank you.
Hello. Welcome back
Hi,
to our Beyond
everyone.
Broken conference. Yes. Hello, Rina. Good afternoon.
Good
Uh,
afternoon, Polo.
yeah, so we hope everyone had a good feast day lunch and had some time to absorb the lessons from our morning session. This party was very insightful, and I hope you guys took away something from that. This afternoon, Rina and I will be your hosts. I'm Polo, currently an analyst for a conglomerate and a former participant of the Theology of the Body course that Beyond Kilig offered last year. Um, I'm also a founding member of Confessions PH. It's a campaign that wants to be your confession buddy, to answer your questions about confession and to walk with you to meet Christ in that sacrament.
That's so cool, Polo. And again, I'm Rina, a CPA handling bookkeeping and consulting clients. And I'm also a part of Goodness, Truth, Beauty, Unity, which also shares TOB for Ilonggo speaking audiences. And I was also Polo's classmate for the Beyond Kilig TOB course last year, which I'm so grateful for because it helped me see myself and others more clearly with the TOB lens, which we will learn more about this afternoon. So now we would like to thank our partners again for the supporting this event. Alfie is a multi-sectoral organization committed to preserve and restore Filipino family values, and Live Pure movement with a mission of leading young men and women to a life of real freedom, total happiness, and true love by embracing the lifestyle of chastity. Also, a few reminders. If you haven't yet, please give StreamYard access on Facebook so we can now show your comments live. And as we go along, input any questions or comments you have on our Padlet so we can discuss these during the panel discussion later this afternoon.
Yeah,
Polo?
so as you saw a while ago, the discussion was very rich, and we hope to also have the same rich conversation later. Because this afternoon, we will talk about acceptance and self-love. No, parang
Mm,
kasi when you go confession, for example, a lot of us experience na we always fail, we feel trapped, or we can't go forward, no? So it's hard to accept. Paano ba yun? Or, palagi na lang stressed, kahit na ang dami kong measures na ginagawa para self-love, di ba? Bumibili ng milk tea, or,
mm,
just go hiking. Pero stressed pa rin, or pero feeling mo empty pa rin. So, ano ba talaga yun? Self-love, pero parang may kulang pa. So, this afternoon, we want to explore the question, sino ba talaga ako? At para saan ang buhay ko? Yun. So, but just a word of caution, again, our discussion this afternoon may have content about emotional experiences that may trigger distressing responses. So, in case this happens, we suggest you take a few moments away from the session, change activity for a bit, pause, calm yourself down, and then we will also show you on the screen some hotlines if ever you may need help or support.
right.
Yeah, so you can see it on your screen now.
Okay. Yeah, take note of that. And now, before we begin, Let us ask the Holy Spirit to be with us and guide us this afternoon. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Panginoong Diyos, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng biyayang walang sawa ninyong ipinagkakaloob sa amin. Hindi man kami karapat-dapat sa inyong pagmamahal, nariyan pa rin po kayo upang kami ay kupkupin. Linisin niyo po ang aming mga puso at ituwid mo po nawa ang landas na aming nilalakaran. Maghari nawa po ang pagmamahal na unang nagmula sa iyo sa buhay ng bawat anak mo at gamitin mo po kami na maging instrumento mo para maging daluyan ng pagmamahal at pagpapala mo. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you very much, Rina. So let's dive into this, right? So our first testimonial for this afternoon will be on the quarter life crisis. Ako, na-experience mo na ba yun, Rina? Kasi ako,
Yes,
medyo nandun sa
unfortunately.
age. Diba? So we have today, we are very privileged to have Mr. Kirby Laban. He is a published author, motivational speaker, and training consultant. So after graduating as an industrial engineer, ka-course ko pala, Kirby answered the call to be a full-time lay missionary for Couples for Christ for 16 years and was sent to 34 countries for speaking engagements and trainings. Gathering all his learnings on motivation and spirituality, Kirby published The Fired Up Life, Passion Principles to Motivate You for Work and Life, and 365 Fired Up Days, Daily Motivation to Fire Up Your Work Life. So he was also nominated as one of the Male Influencers of the Year in 2018 and 2020 Catholic Social Media Awards. Let us welcome
Wow.
to the screen, Kirby Laban.
Woo!
Hello, Kirby. Good afternoon.
Hey, Paulo. Hi, Rina.
Hi, Kirby.
Yes. So, hello to all our viewers of the Beyond Brokenness Conference. All right. So, thanks for having me.
Yes.
Yes. Have a good one, Kirby.
All right.
We're excited to.
Great. All right. So, I'm very excited to be testifying before you in this Beyond Brokenness Conference. You know, when I graduated college, that was about a long time ago. I was an idealistic person. I really wanted to make a difference in the world. I felt, a calling from God to do something with my life, to do something meaningful. And so when I graduated college, I answered the call to be actually a missionary for our church through Couples for Christ. And I did that for, 16 years of my life. And in those 16 years, I was able to preach in different countries. And, one of those countries that I went to was Sierra Leone, Africa. So of those countries that I visited as a lay missionary, this was the most memorable one because I had to, travel through motorcycle, no, riding in tandem and going from one country to another, from Sierra Leone to Liberia. So I did that for 6 hours, and things during my mission trips were very memorable, and I was very happy and fulfilled doing these things for a long time through the Youth for Christ and Couples for Christ ministries. I went around, preaching from one village to another. So if you just imagine what a missionary would do in Africa, I did that for some time, and it was very challenging. But I felt that it was really my calling, and I realized that, wow, this is the life that I really want to be living for the next decades of my life, or even up to I die. So I really had already everything set in my mind. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to live my life. This is the path that I will take. And of course, as life went on, I fell in love. Okay, beyond kilig, I fell in love and met someone in Singles for Christ. She was also a full-time missionary. Her name is Michelle, and when I met her in the course of the missions, we got married. And of course, after marriage, we were able to produce. We were able to have 4 kids, and these 4 kids, of course, they're gifts to me. They bring so much delight to my life, and of course, this 4 kids, having kids also changed the way I envisioned myself, because during that time I was just thinking about my life as a single person to do missions for the rest of my life. And of course, my kids came, and my priorities were about to change. So the practical things happened, feeding them, providing shelter for them, and of course providing education for them. So my family was growing up. My family was the needs were quite increasing as compared to the simple life that I lived as a missionary before. And I felt that at this point, there was a new calling, a new stage of life that I had to enter. So after 16 years of doing mission work, I found myself having to say goodbye to that kind of life, to that kind of calling that I thought I had for the rest of my life. So there was a new calling, and I didn't see this happening. I didn't see this, that it would come to my life, that I would say that, hey, I would have to do something different. And this is what happened. I I had to go into the corporate life, and decided to embrace the world of business, the world of entrepreneurship. And having done missions for 16 years, and suddenly going into entrepreneurship, I had my own struggles. I had my difficulties. Uh, I had all these fears, anxieties, doubts, pressures, problems, and I felt that I was lost. I felt that I had a lack of direction. And I started to question myself. Who am I? Sino ba ako? What am I supposed really to do here on earth? I thought I would be a missionary. In other words, I struggled with myself. I I didn't know myself, and I could say that that was my quarter life crisis. At that point in my life, I had a crisis of direction. I had a crisis of finding fulfillment in my life, because I thought I would be a missionary for a long time. And suddenly, I'm a business person. And so what I did was, I became and I went on a retreat to be able to avert this crisis, to be able to cope with it, to be able to overcome it. And when I went through that quarter life crisis, I had to ask myself 6 questions. What's my passion? Because I want to live a fulfilled life. What's my purpose? What is my vision? Where does this all lead to? What are really my goals in life? What are my values? And finally, is there a message that I want to share to the world? I spent 3 days in Baguio. There was actually a retreat going on, and on the side, I was also making my own self retreat, answering these questions. And you know what? I started to draft my passion statement. I drafted my purpose statement, my vision, values, and goals. I started to write them down. And in the weeks to come, I would clarify them through prayer, through contemplation, through consultation. And finally, I came up with precise and exact statements of what I felt God wanted me to do in my life, and aligning it also to what I also desired. It wasn't easy, it was difficult, but the process of finding myself again was very important for me. There the My idea of who I would be got broken, only for the Lord to rebuild it once again. So this was how I was able to overcome my quarter life crisis by creating what I called a blueprint for my life. And I realized also, when I was doing business, people hated Mondays, and people would always answer this question with Friday. No, what's your favorite day of the week? Friday, Saturday, and it was never Mondays. And I realized that we needed to be fired up. We needed to be motivated. We needed to be good witnesses at work, and not only in our communities or in the parishes and in the churches that we serve in. I realized that as Catholics, we have to be that person who is fired up on a Monday. And that became my mission. I wanted to, fire up people in their work life, because that is where we become good witnesses. And there I found my mission, I found myself, and I started to recreate my business, and I called it Fired Up Life Training Services. And I got more and more clients, and I saw that my mission is being fulfilled in the workplace. I saw myself being an evangelizer of the workplace. And more and more people came because they got attracted to the Fired Up Life message. And I even created a module called Passion 8. You know, after that, after that time that I realized these things, I said, I want to write a book about it. So 16 years of my mission life and about 5 or 6 years of my entrepreneurial life, I said, I got to get this message out to get people fired up, to be able to overcome their crisis of finding themselves, to overcome their crisis of not knowing where to go in life. In other words, to find clarity. And praise God that this book was recommended by Bo Sanchez, and it became one of the best sellers of Kerygma books after a year. And I praise God for that. And later on, I sensed that I had to bring out this message more to more people, right? Online especially. So I started to create videos for myself. I called it Fired Up in 60 Seconds. I started a podcast and I called it The Fired Up Life. And more people were able to hear of this message. And I realized that, when we have a message in us, when we are able to have a clear vision of who God wants us to be and where we are led, and to accept our gifts, to accept our talents, God will bring us to places. And more and more interviews came in my life, and another crisis came actually 2020 of March. I thought everything was going well, but we all know what happened last 2 years ago when the pandemic struck. But I had to bounce back, knowing where my direction was and my purpose. So I had to create something new, and I called it the Fired Up Life Show. And ever since then, to this day, I already have 352 episodes, and was able also to create another book called 365 Fired Up Days to help people overcome their personal crisis, to overcome the confusion in their lives. 365 days in a year. And I praise God for that. And I started to realize I've learned so many things. I have to also help people find their message, find their direction in life. And I started Fired Up University to be able to mentor a few Catholic creators who also want to spread the gospel online. And that's what happened to me. At the end of the day, all I really wanted to do was, yes, be part of changing the world, but also to have that sense of calling, to answer that sense of calling where God wanted to lead my family, wanted to lead me. And beyond the brokenness of the two crises that I experienced in my life, beyond that brokenness, I realize is the clarity that we will find. We have to go through a certain brokenness so that we can be made whole in the Lord. Just like Jesus, who was broken in his passion and death, but his resurrection has made him whole, has made all of us whole in the Lord. And that's for my testimony. We encourage you to really accept who you are and share your gift to the rest of the world and get fired up. God bless you.
Wow, amazing. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Kirby. I'm pretty excited for what is more to come this afternoon after that talk.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
What that's pretty that's so really awesome. Really hit me hard because I'm also really looking for clarity in my life. So thank you for this encouragement, Kirby. Thank you so much. So
Thank you,
now
Rina.
let's proceed. Thank you, Kirby. So now let's proceed with our second speaker. She's an academic service facility equipment specialist for the chromatography laboratory at the De La Salle University Laguna campus. She spent 11 years in Singapore and took her PhD in chemistry at the National University of Singapore and subsequently worked there as a researcher. She returned to the Philippines under the DOST Balik Scientist program in 2020. She has served as a catechist for high school youth for about 8 years, 5 years of which she helped out in delivering sessions on the theology of the body. Please welcome Karen Lacerna. Woo!
Hello.
Hi,
Hi,
Karen.
Karen.
Hi. Hi,
Afternoon.
Polo. Hi, Rina. It's nice to see you both.
Nice to see
Yes, good
you.
afternoon. So
Okay.
take it away,
So,
Karen.
okay. Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Karen, and I will be sharing a little bit about myself. So, I am a Santa Rosa, Laguna native. I grew up in a brood of five. Our family has two sets of twins. So, we have an eldest brother and then two sets ng kambal. So, people usually say that lucky daw yung parents ko kasi yun nga, meron silang dalawang set ng kambal. Tatlong anak lang, lima na kagad kami. So, um, there are two sets of fraternal twins, so girl and boy, 10 years apart, and I am half of that second set of kambal. So, by the time that I was growing up, my sister was already in her late teens. I didn't really bond with her a lot kasi nga medyo nasa medyo matanda na siya. Not so much, but yes, she was already going towards going for college. So instead, I grew up bonding and emulating my twin brother. So siya yung lagi kong kabarkada. And weirdly enough, there weren't a lot of girls as well in my area when I was growing up. So yung mga playmates ko din, puro boys. My parents are honest and good folks. My father is a farmer and my mother, well, she has five kids. So you can just imagine the chaos that she has to deal with every day. And she chose to be a stay-at-home mom to raise all of us. They are good and loving parents, but in terms of character, it is my father who is of the more stronger character or stronger personality, while my mother is more of the gentle and meek kind. So growing up, I saw the dynamics between my father and my mother, and during that time, growing up, I have mistaken my mom's gentleness and her sacrifice of being a housewife as a weakness, and I didn't want to be like her. Also, add to this how women were usually portrayed in shows and movies before, right? So, may pagka-movie buff kasi ako eh. And usually, you will see women or girls to be the damsels in distress that needs to be saved by a knight or a prince or or some heroic guy. So, my idea of gender during that time was quite skewed. So, men strong, women weak. So to make the long story short, I grew up a tomboy. So isa ako sa siga sa kalye namin. I did not like being a girl. I grew up not really liking myself, feeling like a boy trapped in a girl's body. Di ba minsan naririnig natin, ako ay isang babae na nakakulong sa katawan ng lalaki or ako ay isang lalaki na nakakulong sa katawan ng babae. So that was what I was feeling at that time. I felt detached from my body. So for me, this is just my body. It's what I unfortunately end up with, but this body is not me. Amidst all that awkwardness and struggle, I then developed same sex attraction. My crushes at that time were girls, and as I grew up, women. So, nandyan na yung mga, of course, celebrity crushes, sina Sandra Bullock, Gwyneth Paltrow, and of course, meron diyang mga non-showbiz na crushes. And it carried on well into my adult life. And during that time, I was thinking, this is how I'll be for the rest of my life. Medyo closeted. I mean, the way I dress and behave, talagang siga or barako talaga. Um, People know when I'm reaching the office kasi ano, alam na nila yung yabag nung pa ako kasi lakad siga talaga. But I was not entirely open with my attractions. Yes, select friends know, but that's it. So in a way, there is still this part of me that is hiding. Then after a few years of working here in the industry here in the Philippines, I decided to pursue my PhD studies in Singapore. I thought I'm going to Singapore just to study so that I can later on have better options, professional options. And well, it turns out that God has other plans for me. I was born Catholic, but I have not really personally encountered God in my life growing up. I mean, I grew up in a good family, not perfect, but it's definitely a loving family. However, just see the faith as obligations that I need to fulfill. I need to pray if I need anything and avoid sin as much as I can. But I did not have a relationship with God. When I came to Singapore, I was away from home. I was quite homesick. And during that time, the Lord showed me that the church is also my home and I have a family in my church community. I found a second family and second home in my parish. I then became active in our parish, got involved with catechism, and somehow with the choir. Medyo may pagkakalad ka rin ako. But there is this hidden part of me, my SSA. Getting to know more about my faith and the church, I began to feel that internal struggle between who I am supposed to be and who I see myself to be. Sometimes naiisip ko, if God really loves me, why did He have to make me this way? I remember praying every day and every moment that I feel the struggle. Lord, if what I want is not your will for me, then change my heart so that I can be who you want me to be. Then He made Himself known to me little by little, and allowed me to experience His immense love for me in so many ways through the years. With this experience of a loving God, a constant recourse to the sacraments of reconciliation and Eucharist, and some spiritual direction and counseling, only then did I really get to know my true self. Then he introduced me to theology of the body. I came to know of TOB in catechism class where I was one of the facilitators when it started to become part of our program. As I got to know it at that time, listening about what it teaches, it all felt very familiar to me. There is a strong sense of relation or relating to what I am learning. So nandun yung resonance. It resonates very much with me. Learning about through TOB, I got to learn about the unity of body and soul. And it really helped me with that feeling of detachment with my body. Slowly, I became more integrated. So this is me, Karen, body and soul, me. I have come to slowly accept and appreciate myself as I am. I may not be pretty, as some would think, but I know that I am beautiful, wonderfully made out of love, for love, and to love. I got to understand my attractions better, particularly that same sex attractions that I had. I realized my crushes before, they were not my crushes because they have traits that I believe I did not have and will not have. So, um, they are pretty, they are smart, they are talented, they have a good sense of humor, they are outgoing. And as you can see, super baba ng self-esteem ko before. So I believed during that time that I wouldn't and I would never develop those traits. I realized I was drawn to them because of the traits that they have, and I want those traits for myself. As I learned to appreciate my unique self and also try to develop those traits, those crushes eventually went away. I am not romantically attracted to them anymore as I used to be, but I learned to appreciate and be inspired by them for the woman that they are. I also got to understand my mother and my father better and the role that they played in our family. I came to realize that what I initially saw as weaknesses of my mother growing up are actually her most admirable strengths. Her capacity to love, to sacrifice, her patience, her gentleness. I also have to admit, I haven't really figured out fully yet why he created me as a woman. What more is he calling me to? But I find myself becoming more of a motherly figure to the students that I mentor in school and to the catechism youths that I have been with in the past years. I have learned that as a woman, I can be a mother not only in the biological sense, but also in the spiritual. I am here to love and to care for those who are entrusted to me. So now I just continue to seek and trust that He will lead me to whatever His other plans are for me. I pray and I hope that you will all experience also just how much God loves you and know that you are created by God with a purpose in mind as you are, a man or a woman. Lastly, I would like to share with you this verse that I came upon during my initial years of struggle of finding myself. I remember going through this crisis of identity and also going through a health scare at the same time. And I was really on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And I find myself opening the Bible right to this verse. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and hope. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me. When you seek me with all your heart, I will be found by you, says the Lord. So that's Jeremiah chapter 29, verses 11 and to 14. So I end this testimony with an invitation to all of you. Seek, seek and you will find. Seek with all your heart and 100% guaranteed you will find the Lord. Let Him lead you to the beauty of who you truly are and who you are called to be. So thank you.
Thank you
Karen!
po. Tagas sa puso.
Thank you so
Galing.
much. That was a very touching. I mean, this is not the first time Rina and I heard your testimonial, and yet
Yeah,
it always like strikes a chord. Yeah. So I'm
that's
like,
true.
some of our audience is saying, very touching. One of them said, "Remember that a failure is an event, not a person," and it's really discovering who
Mhm.
that person is in us. That's very nice. You are beautiful, Sister Karen, and so sincere. Hugs and love from
So
Winnie
true.
Aguilar. There. So, thank you guys for being very engaged, and we'd like to invite you to continue your engagement through the Padlet link that we have for this second session. So, we're going to have this Padlet to collect your questions, and later on, we'll discuss it during the panel discussion. Okay, so just copy the URL. And I think you can also find this in the Facebook group where we are streaming live now. So there. That's it for our first part of our block this afternoon. And now we'll move on to our theology of the body lesson. And to give it, um, to give the lesson today, we will have Carmela Vertido. She will talk about gift and what does gift mean in theology of the body. And Carmela currently heads the online learning program of Paraf Rose Hill School in Antipolo. So she's very experienced with this online setup, but she also has experience teaching math, science, religion, and philosophy, working as a student activities coordinator, and serving as an educational leader. In fact, she was Rina and my teacher, and,
Yes.
and she's also a regular speaker for Theology of the Body ever since 2012 pa lang. So, idol talaga. So, and recently, Carmela finished a Theology of the Body online workshop from the Franciscan University
Wow.
in the US. Goals.
Wow,
And
idol.
oh nga, and she recently just finished a course of the Theology of the Body Institute with Christopher West, who is like one of the leading
Wow.
experts in theology of the body all over the world.
Yeah,
So yeah, so let's
awesome.
welcome Carmela to the screen, and then hopefully she can. Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
I didn't expect that introduction, but thank you for that.
Yeah, so take it away. Sino ba talaga tayo, Carmela?
Thank you, Paulo and Rina. And thank you, Kirby and Karen, for very moving and inspiring testimonies. And good afternoon to all our Beyond the Brokenness participants, whether you are watching this live or if you will watch this after some hours or days as a replay. But hello to everyone and welcome to this session. I'll begin by saying a story. Around 10 years ago, I was driving in Slex, sa South Superhighway. Not sure if I was going to Tagaytay or Batangas, somewhere there. But I do remember that drive. I was listening to music, and the song, you might know this song from Anastasia. It's called Journey to the Past. So it played. As I listened, I was singing along with it. So I really like music. I don't know, but I found myself tearing up a bit. No, I found myself crying a bit. I didn't really know why. But I think it was because the lyrics hit me. They were very meaningful. If you know the song, there's a part that goes, arms will open wide, I'll be safe and wanted, find the home where I belong. Parang ganon. No? So, I think this is something that all of us long for. This, yung home, yung belonging, yung meaning, where is my place? As I mentioned, no, I don't really know why I was quite sentimental at that moment. Maybe I was longing for something. Maybe I wasn't. I was looking for something. I was looking for myself. No? Ang hirap nang nawawala. Diba? So, I think this is a longing and a question that somehow at some point in our life hits us. No? My belonging, my meaning, where is my place? Ultimately, who am I? Sino ako? Bakit ako nabubuhay? What's my purpose in life? All of us have this deep longing to find ourselves. And we heard it from our testimonial speakers. I loved how Kirby, I quote, he was saying something like, a crisis of direction. No? Siguro meron sa atin ngayon, no? Siguro pinagdadaanan yon. Maybe that's what I was also going through at that time that I wasn't aware of. No? And as Kirby said, no, how he even needed to go on a retreat. Yung parang kailangan i-address natin eh. Kasi parang it's so important to our life to find out. And Karen also mentioned, sabi niya, no, there was a part of me that was hiding. There was a part of me that was hiding. And that's a very difficult situation. I think that's a very, we want to address it. We want to answer that question, or that longing. So, where's my place? Who am I? Sino ako? Bakit ako nabubuhay? What's my purpose? And little did I know then that the lyrics of that song, I'm going to go back to the song. Little did I know at that time that the lyrics of that song, Journey to the Past, also contained the answers which I eventually found in Theology of the Body. When I realized this, I couldn't help but share it to my fellow TOB advocates because the title itself is an answer. I needed to journey to the past. As the song goes, back to who I was, on to find my future, things my heart still needs to know. So, konti entertainment muna, kanta-kanta lang that. No, but if you look at the lyrics, for those who are familiar with Theology of the Body, these words were starting to make sense. And I was like, this is Theology of the Body. I had to go back, and I'll explain this a little more later, for me to understand my future, the meaning of my life, and ultimately what really is my purpose. And these are things my heart needs to know. These are things my heart needs to know. I found all these in John Paul II's Theology of the Body. So he brought me, John Paul II, to the very beginning, as in the beginning, to the first human persons, and this is Genesis. And what I discovered, I would like to share by summarizing through the keyword gift, G-I-F-T. You and I are a gift. So let's journey to the past. First, I'd like to say, so G-I-F-T. That's what we'll go through this afternoon. G, you and I are good. You and I are good. Ginawa tayong may kabutihan. Ginawa tayong may kabutihan. We are good. As I read here in the slide, at nilalang ng Diyos ang tao ayon sa kanyang sariling larawan. God created mankind in His image. In the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. And God looked at everything He had made and found it very good. Found it very good. So, you and I are good. So, sasamahan ko yung G-I-F-T ng apat na K. So, for good, kabutihan. Ginawa tayong may kabutihan. Usually I think, at least I've observed, when we think of Genesis, yung ating beginning, when we think of Genesis, madalas ang iniisip na natin kaagad yung si Adan, si Eva, at yung ahas. Parang yun yung usually start when we think of Genesis. When we think of our beginning, usually we already think of that moment when we have Adam, Eve, and the snake. Pero hindi tayo nag-umpisa sa kasalanan, kundi sa kabutihan. I think this is a mentality I think we need to rethink and remind people about. Hindi tayo nag-umpisa sa kasalanan. Ang umpisa ng kwento, hindi yung Adam and Eve and the snake and the sin. There was a previous story. There was a beginning. So the journey to the past of really past. The beginning. Umpisa tayo sa kabutihan. G is good. We are a gift. And I is irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. You are unique and unrepeatable. Ikaw ay kakaiba. So, ikaw ay may kabutihan at ikaw ay kakaiba. You are unique and unrepeatable. We are irreplaceable. We are irreplaceable. As John Paul II, Saint John Paul II said, the human being is single, unique, and unrepeatable. Someone thought of and chosen from eternity. Someone called and identified by name. When God made us in His image, male and female, He created them. He did not make us like a factory, like in a factory where you have mass production. But He thought of us and made us one by one, molded each one of us with a lot of love, with a lot of intention, like an artist molds each and every single masterpiece. And this uniqueness is good. I think we need to celebrate more often this uniqueness. We are irreplaceable. And I'd like to celebrate that now, our uniqueness and being irreplaceable and unrepeatable, because this is something that is so, I would say, awesome, that we should, let's allow it to sink a little more in us. No? So I invite you to post in the comments. I'm going to peep now a bit on the comments. I invite you to post in the comments if you can shout out via written words or emojis And you can either simply type, I am unique and unrepeatable, and put your emoji there. Or I challenge you. You might want to reflect a bit. You can fill in the blanks. I am unique because I am unique because blank. Or if this might take time to think about. So you may simply put, if you want, I am unique and unrepeatable, or to put, I am unique because. Maybe you already have an answer there why I am unique. I am unique because. So I thought about this myself, no? So I was thinking, okay, how about me? Yeah, it took me some time actually to think about it. So I was thinking, okay, Carmela, for example, am unique and irreplaceable because I am the only one with my unique experiences, my own personal story. I have a specific background. I am speaking to you and sharing as of this moment. Maraming ibang pwedeng magsalita, maraming mas capable of talking about this topic. But they don't have the same story as me. They don't have the same experience as me. No one has exactly the same hands, the same eyes, the same body, the same thoughts, the same feelings. And each one, aside from ourselves, each one of your family members, each one of your friends, each one in your community, each and every one in your school or in your workplace is also unique and unrepeatable and irreplaceable. And we need also to learn to value that uniqueness more than allowing sometimes the more negative aspects of another person or even ourselves, no, but to value that uniqueness of each one, so okay, I see more comments here. Wow, maybe we can read a bit some. I am unique because I am God's beloved, and specifically you and only you. I think this is Elaine. Ayan, si Elaine. Okay, because I'm God's beloved and you are that specific. No? We have another one here. I'm unique because I build my own foundation and I choose my own bricks. And yes, those bricks are yours alone. Someone else has other bricks. I am unique and unrepeatable. God accepts and loves me for who I am. I am unique because I am a missionary ER nurse. Wow, God bless you. God bless you for what you do. I am unique because I have goals in life, and those goals are unique to you. The path that you will create to reach those goals are unique to you. And many more. Thank you so much for sharing those answers. So each one of us and each one of your loved ones is irreplaceable, is unique, is unrepeatable. And let's celebrate this and thank God. So part of being unique is also that we are an embodied spirit, a unique embodied spirit. What does this mean? Our uniqueness in both body and soul, because we are a human person, this means the human person, our body, and our soul is a unity. The human person is a unity of body and soul. The human person is an embodied spirit. Ang ating buong pagkatao, hindi lang katawan, hindi lang kaluluwa, pero yung kabuuan natin, katawan at ang ating kaluluwa. No? We are a unity of body and soul. Hindi lang tayo katawan, hindi lang tayo kaluluwa. We can imagine what happens if we separate them. Anong nangyayari pag pinaghiwalay natin sila? Kung katawan lang, zombie or corpse, no? Kung katawan lang, parang pang horror movie yata, no? So it can't be the body alone. There's something wrong. What if it's just the soul alone? Oh, we know what that is. No, it's a ghost. No? Multo. So, pang horror movie din. So, we are, that uniqueness is an embodied spirit. It is a unity of body and soul in a unique way. Our soul is unique to us. Our body is unique to us. And that in itself is irreplaceable. So we are special in body and soul. The theology of the body really, it's beautiful how this is unpacked. Okay, so this conference is actually just a teaser of theology of the body. There's so much to share and to say about these ideas. There's so much more, but there for us to realize that our soul is special. That also means our heart is unique and special. Our feelings, our thoughts are all unique and special. And our bodies, the unique body that we have been given matters and it is special. So the body matters. The body matters. The body matters because it is unique to me and it is special. It is mine. I love what Christopher West would say. As mentioned, as mentioned, I attended an online. It was online, but it was such a blessing. I was able to attend an online course with Christopher West. So I took a picture of that Zoom together with him. We were able to ask him questions. It was a very moving course. So as Christopher West would say, theology of the body advocate, he would say, "You are somebody. You are somebody. You are special. You are valuable. You are somebody. Not just anybody. It's not just anyone's body. It's yours, and that's what makes you somebody. Not just anybody, and definitely not a nobody. We don't want to be a nobody. We value our body. Value your body because the body is part of who I am. The body is part of who I am. It's part of the gift. It's part of my being a gift. I am a gift. So, review tayo ng konti. I am good. Meron tayong kabutihan. Irreplaceable. Ikaw ay kakaiba. And I am F. What is F? Let us proceed to F. I am free. I am free no matter what. I am free no matter what. Tayo ay may kalayaan. Ginawa tayong may kalayaan. So similar to our uniqueness, I think freedom is also something that we fail to understand in the true sense of the word, in its real essence. We forget to value it for what it really is. Yung kalayaan natin, we are free. So, as what said in Genesis, you are free to eat from any of the trees of the garden. From the beginning in Genesis, we have already been told, you are free. You are free to eat from any of the trees of the garden. And He made us in His image. He made us in His image. St. John Paul II would quote, "Authentic freedom is an exceptional sign of the divine image within man." That freedom that in the first place God has, when He made us in His image, that freedom, He made us share in that. He made us share in that freedom. It is a sign of that being in the image of God. So let us live that authentic, true freedom. No? Authentic, true freedom. As we saw from the testimonies of Kirby and Karen, no, about freedom, it was very beautiful how they were also sharing this. No, Kirby, when Kirby was saying how uh, in the end, after discernment and going through a process, to be an evangelizer. You wanted to be an evangelizer of the workplace. I like that phrase, to be an evangelizer of the workplace. And you saw how fired up he was. In fact, that's the title of his of what he's doing now. No, the uh, fired up, being fired up. And I loved how I was thinking a while ago when I was listening to him, ay, gumitin ko to. Kasi alam mo, pag free tayo, yung tunay na freedom, we really end up fired up. We end up really living out totally, what we're meant to, what we are called to, with that correct freedom. So that he was fired up, when we're free. And nabitin nga ako ng konti sa kwento niya, no? So, but we're gonna hear, you can ask, I hope you post there in the Padlet more questions. We can hear from him a little more later, no? So, yeah, freedom fires us up. And then how Karen also beautifully shared with us that in the end, accepting who I am makes us free. Accepting who we are, fully accepting, as we've been saying, we are a unity of body and soul. Body and soul, accepting what makes us unique, our own stories, our own stories. It's beautiful, no? It makes us free. No, that's what made her free. Accepting who she is made her free. And you are free. You are free. I thought of spending a few moments, asking and reflecting a bit, reflecting and praying. If anything at this moment is enslaving us, if there are any negative emotions, negative thoughts, any guilt, need for forgiveness, kung nabibigatan na tayo sa siguro mga problema o mga pinagdadaanan natin, these are things that can drag us down and can enslave us and can prevent us from flying, from being fired up. Let us cry out to our Creator, to our Maker, who loves us so much, and ask Him, set me free again, because He wants us to be free. He made us free. He wants you and I to be free. And the best gifts, going back to our gifts, the best gifts are given freely. I don't think it's a gift if it's forced. There's no gift that's forced. If you think about it, if someone gives you a gift and you know that napilitan lang siya, parang hindi yata magandang gift yun, no? And gifts are received freely. And you and I are a gift. So G, good. Meron tayong kabutihan. I, we are irreplaceable. Ikaw ay kakaiba. F, we are free. Meron tayong ginawa, tayong may kalayaan. But here, freedom also poses a question. Why is there freedom? Why were we created free? What is our freedom for? Is it for selfish reasons? Is it simply to be free and that's it? If you think about it, parang why is there freedom? Freedom for what? So F cannot be separated from T. So, T of the gift. So, freedom exists because we are T. We are T. We are tasked to love. We are tasked to love. We are called to and meant for true love. Nag-isip ako ng K, sabi ko, K na yung GIF, kabutihan, kakaiba, kalayaan. Sabi ko, dapat K din. Pero yung love, hindi naman K. Sabi ko, ito na lang, kaibigan. So, kaibigan. Lahat tayo, kung tayo'y tunay na maging tunay na kaibigan, totoo yun, kailangan lahat ating ibigin. Kailangan lahat by love. No? To really love others, to truly love the others. That's the reason for freedom. Freedom and love go together. There is no true love that is not free. And authentic freedom is freedom for love. Freedom for love. As John Paul II said, the call for a sincere gift of self, and to be a gift of self is to love, is the fullest way to realize our personal freedom. If you think about it, it's true because freedom and love go together. There is no love that's not freely given. If you think of someone who loves you, think of someone right now who loves you. Think of someone who you think, truly loves you, and then think, what if that person was just being forced? Forced. Parang, ay, hindi niya ako love. No? Parang, love cannot exist without freedom. So freedom and love go together. So we are free, but we are free because we are called to love. We are called to be a gift for self-giving to another. This is true love. Love that is done with true freedom. As we read in Genesis, in the image of God, He created them. And who is this God whom we image? Who is this God who created us? Sino ba ang Diyos? Diba? In the image of God, He created them. But who is this God whom we image? Sino ba ang Diyos? Diba sabi natin, God is love? Yes. He is an eternal exchange of love. So we are imaging love Himself. He is an eternal exchange of love. So who am I? What did I find in my journey to the past? As we began this with that little story of that song I discovered, no? That journey to the past. So who am I? What did the journey to the past? What did I experience from that journey to the past? As the song goes, home, love, family, I will never be complete until I find you. Sabi ko, oo nga. What did I find? Home, love, family. And it's not just, it's more than the family we can imagine, because you and I are children of God. That's who we are. In the end, it is finding where we really belong, who really ultimately our family is. And in the end, all of us are brothers and sisters. All of us are part of this huge, awesome family. So, lahat tayo anak ng Diyos. Lahat tayo anak ng Diyos. That's who we are. And He made us as gifts. As gifts. We are good. We are irreplaceable. We are free to love. And this is my purpose in life. This is who I am as a child of God, as a daughter of God. I realize this is my purpose. This is the meaning of my life. And to discover every day how I can be a unique gift for others, how I can live out being a beloved child of God. This is it. So I end by saying, mahalaga ka, mahal aga ka, mahal talaga. You are a valuable treasure and gift. So play of words, mahal, pagmamahal, mahal, expensive, mahalaga ka. Mahalaga ka. You are a valuable treasure and a gift. You are for true love. Love ako ng love, no? Pero ano ba yung true love? Ano ba talaga ang true love? So I will end by saying, find out what true love is. But you have to continue the journey with us. You have to stay until this afternoon's Q&A, until tomorrow in the next, in blocks 3 and 4. You have to continue on the journey to find out more about true love and about many more things about us and about the theology of the body. So stay with us here in Beyond Brokenness until day 2 tomorrow and beyond. So I pray for all of you and each one of us that we discover and appreciate our value as a gift.
Oh, bitin naman, Carmela. Hashtag bitin factor. Wow. Thank you so much, Carmela. It's very refreshing. Yeah. Rina, we can. You're saying something, Rina? Yeah. Oh, okay. I think. Oh, we can't hear you, Rina. But okay. Thank you again so much, Carmela. So many insights. Again, a gift. We are all a gift.
Okay,
And I
while
like how
our
you made
hosts
the. Oh,
are. Thank you.
I
I
like how
see
you
the
made
comments
the.
in the chat box. Thank you, by the way, for your comments. And sending love to all of you, brothers and sisters. Okay.
Hello. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you again, Carmela. Sorry for that. Um, yeah. So here, feel free to add more questions or concerns to our Padlet. Um, that was a very interesting discussion. I learned it before, but then I learned new things again today, especially the new acronym. No? So maganda talaga na nata-translate natin yung mga konsepto from English to Tagalog, di ba? So from gift, nagiging KKKK. So tayong mga Pilipino, hindi na pala tayo katipuneros lang, KKK. Level up na tayo ngayon. We are KKKK. So, another K. Um, yeah. Because we have to put Christ at our end, right? That's the additional K to who we are.
Right.
Kirina, are
Hello?
you there?
Naririnig na ba ako? Still
Yes,
can't
yes,
hear me?
okay.
Oh, goodness. Buti naman. Uy, hinihingi ko sana kumanta pa one more time si Carmela. Ang
Oh,
galing nung
yeah.
pagka-swak pa lang ng song, 'di ba? And ang galing niya kumanta.
Oo nga eh. Dapat yung full song na lang kinanta
Oo
niya.
nga. Oo nga. Yeah.
Educated pa.
Okay.
Singer.
Sige. Sige. So, let's proceed. Hang on. So, that was wonderful. A great three speakers that we had. Galing. Now, we're going to have a short break, but we invite you, please add your questions into our Padlet. And right after our quick 5-minute break, we'll go to our panel discussion. So, ikaw ba, Polo, may questions ka ba?
Meron. I wrote it down
Meron.
already. So,
Ooh.
yeah, maybe some of you guys have the same question.
Kayo
Let's
din.
see.
Kayo din, guys. Let's hear more from you so that ma-answer nung mga panel natin yung gusto niyong malaman. Okay?
Ikaw,
So,
Rina,
let's go. Yes?
do
Ano
you
yung
have a
Polo?
question also?
Yeah, I wrote it down also. Pa-mystery lang din.
Okay. Sige, break muna.
Sige, let's take a break. See you later.
together, keeping me from me.
I can't understand why I am how I am. Who am I? What am I supposed to be?
Don't be scared, I see you come near me. Here's the space just for you in my heart. Restless soul, hear my call to be the unrepeatable gift you are.
I'm not scared, you see me, you know me. Beyond the broken parts of my heart, with you I am free to be called to love from the start.
I'm here, I can hear you. I know your body and your soul is longing for this journey now.
We'll walk there together, you're more than pieces, you are whole. Truth and love will show us how.
Don't be scared, I see you come near me. Here's the space just for you in my heart. Restless soul, hear my call to be the unrepeatable gift you are.
I'm not scared, you see me, you know me. Beyond the broken parts of my heart, with you I am free to be called to love from the start.
To love from the start. To love from the start. From the brokenness of my heart.
Here's a space just for you. Beyond the broken parts, with you I am free to love from the start.
And we're back on Feeling Vlogger podcast. I really you're on mute lang. But yeah, so welcome back, guys. Hope you guys were able to take a break.
Hi. Hopefully, all bladders are clear and hindi nakapag-water break din.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're,
so,
we
well, yeah. We're welcoming back all our speakers on screen so that they'll be our panelists this afternoon. And to join them, our guest mental health professional, Francis Andro Lee. Francis is a registered guidance counselor and a licensed professional teacher. He has been with PAREF Southridge School since 2011, where he worked as a teacher, as a mentor, as a counselor, and now the head of the guidance department. He also receives clients in his private practice at the Familiares Counseling Center and lectures at the San Carlos Graduate School of Theology, where he co founded the certification program on marriage and family education. Francis is currently taking his PhD specializing in clinical psychology at De La Salle University, Manila. Wow. Please welcome everyone. Francis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to
Good
be here.
afternoon. Nice. We're glad that you're here, Francis. So, before we begin, again, a word of caution. Our discussion may have content about emotional experiences that may trigger distressing responses. So, in case this happens, we suggest that you take a few moments away from the session and change activity for a bit to calm yourself down. We will also flash some hotlines should you need some help. Now, Polo, may naselect ka na bang questions for our panel?
oh nga, marami. And I checked out the Padlet and pretty interesting and challenging questions also. I guess we can start with this one on your screen. So to Kirby, where did you get your 6 questions? And what inspired you? And also, what blessings did your crisis teach you?
All right. So thanks for the for those who didn't hear my sharing or who came in late. During my time of quarter life crisis, I asked myself like 6 questions. Um, who am I called to help? What are my goals? What are my values? And what's my message? So these 6 questions are pretty much existential questions. You might not arrange it the way I would, but these are human being questions na pag you lose your direction, you kind of lose your passion, you lose your meaning in life. I would say that those are some default questions that people ask themselves. So I just basically just formatted them in a certain sense that would make sense to me. So the who am I question, I I put it side by side with passion, because for me, your passion is interrelated to who you are, to your own giftedness, to your own uniqueness. The question about um, who am I called to serve, is about purpose. So passion, then what your gifts are for, or is your purpose. So I made a purpose statement. Some call it mission statement. Then after formulating those two, now I realized that okay, may passion and purpose ko. Saan ko naman dadalhin to? And that's where na lumabas na I needed to answer the question of vision. Where is it all going? Then I realized ano bang mahalaga sa akin now that I have these three values. Then finally, I have my goals in life. A lot of people go directly to answering what are my goals. And when they actually meet their goals, they don't find fulfillment. Okay, naabot ko na yung aking goals. Let's just say financial goals in life, or even to find the person in your life. But if you don't know who you are, what God wants you to become, in a sense, through your contemplation and prayer, even your goals would be meaningless. So that's how I put it in a certain sequence. It's in a sense a journey of self discovery. And when I actually discovered this, I kind of realized that it's a formula that people can actually come up with as well. And then I wrote the book, The Fired Up Life, to teach people that the blueprint or that formula that I discovered that really really worked for me and worked for those people who read the book. And yeah, I think what did the crisis teach me? It really taught me to be grateful, to be grateful for even the trials that help us define who we are. That's it.
Right. Because it was the crisis that brought you to that very, very clear clarity. Ang galing.
Yes,
So thank
yes,
you.
that's right. When something is taken away from you, you kind of like start to ask very important questions
Yeah.
with yourself, and so it can't be all good times. The bad times also bring out, in a sense, the voice of God in our lives.
I guess trying
Thank you
to
so
fill that
much, Kirby.
void, right? Yeah,
Right.
thank you, Kirby. Our
All
next
right.
question.
Okay. So, what is your advice to someone who experiences difficulties fighting against same sex attraction?
Okay. Okay. Hello? Hi.
Yes, Karen?
Naririnig ako? Okay. So,
Yes.
perhaps I will just answer a bit. So, for someone who is experiencing or fighting against the struggles of same-sex attraction, I think for me, what worked was first not to fight it. Kasi, um, the, when you try to fight it, you try to go against it. Parang, eventually you get tired of fighting. For me, what worked was recognition, acceptance of what I was going through. And from there, once na-accept ko na that yes, I'm having these attractions and I'm having difficulties with it, that's when I really tried to find someone that can help. I sought help from a spiritual counselor. So from there, he taught me how to trace back on bakit ako nagkaroon ng ganong attraction. So he asked me to go through my life, what are the factors that might have contributed, and from there we work together. So kumbaga katulad nung nasabi ko kanina, as I reflected on my life, what I saw was that I was developing this attraction to the same sex because of like that low self-esteem. Because of that low self-esteem, I have like qualities that I cannot find in myself, and I'm looking for those qualities in another person. And so yun, first, not do not fight it, accept it, recognize it, and try to seek help. And yeah, try to trace kung how did it started.
Hi, Polo.
Thank you,
May
Karen. Would okay, Francis. Yes.
yeah. Yeah, actually, I agree with Karen's statement not to fight the attraction, because if you fight it, the tendency is to actually be angry with your situation. So the first step is to not deny it, accept, not really accept, but not deny the fact that you have the concern. Then once you recognize the concern and it's stressing you out, like you don't really understand that why am I attracted to this person, we're the same sex, it's always good to have someone who can actually guide you. Like in Karen's case, it was a spiritual advisor and maybe some counseling that could actually help. But never, never result yourself to what do you call this, to just really fight that struggle, because it will not work. It will not work. At least with the in my experience as a counselor, I have dealt with some clients who have gone through the concern, and many actually have many have experienced more, like because they try to fight it, the tendency is to actually harm themselves at the end, which we do not want to happen. Yeah. So the step one is do not deny that you have it. Recognize it. That's the right word. Recognize it. Number two, ask for help, especially if it's distressing you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So
Thank
I
you.
have a follow-up question. Right? How do you reconcile being a gift, like what Carmela talked about, no? And having same-sex attraction?
Okay, perhaps I can answer first. Siguro, okay, we need to, ano eh, same-sex attraction is an attraction. It's not our identity. Kumbaga, um, the our call to be a gift to others remain. Our call to love is still there. And so we can still do that. We can still be a gift to others, even if we have these attractions. So you are given gifts, you are given talents, and you can use those talents to be a gift to others in spite of what attractions you have.
I maybe follow Rina. I'll add a bit. Maybe also I'd like to go on the part of um, yung attraction and putting it together with sometimes yung feelings, emotions. I don't know the experiences of your experiences, but some people are more passionate. No? Yung more passionate and parang ang daming nasa loob nila na kailangang ilabas, no? Na so na and it can come out as needing that attraction can also kasi be a need for to to allow those feelings to uh, parang to happen like what am I saying na we can redirect our passions, we can redirect that passion of attraction like as what they were saying na it's not something we need to deny or just repress kasi hindi maganda yon, but I would go also with this idea of let's redirect it somewhere. Pwede kasing lumalabas lang siya sa that kind of attraction, but maybe that's not really what you want. But that's probably not really what you're looking for. It's just that you have to redirect that that passion, or that desire, or that longing. So just that idea.
Yeah, may I add to that also? Because Carmela mentioned of the word feelings. You know, sometimes, especially those with SSA, the tendency is to identify themselves with how they feel. And our feelings are very, uh, they, they're not forever there. It can be maybe you're feeling like this as of the moment, you're passionate with this as of the moment, then later you'll have another kind of feeling. And identifying ourselves by how we feel might not be the best, but it's good to understand where these passions or these feelings are coming from so that we can redirect them really to something that's something that's productive, something that can show our talents, our skills, and we become a gift through that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think, would you, sorry, one more follow-up question. So parang, would you say like having a community or um, like sharing your experience or processing your experience with someone helps a lot? Parang, how can these um, persons who have SSA, who can they approach or how do they talk about it also?
Maybe I can start with that. That's a very interesting follow-up, Polo. You know, it takes a lot of courage for one to admit that he or she actually has SSA. You know, in at least there are always two options, like asking for help, having a community. There are always two options. What are the two options? The first option is to go with the movement, the LGBTQ movement, and they say that it's important that you get out of the closet. That's one option. The other option is you keep it or you share it with someone whom you think you can help. But of course, we do not go for the first. Why? Because if there is a community, like, of course you have to choose your right community first. If it's a community like extreme, like very progressive, liberal, the tendency is to politicize also the emotions, the attraction, which is not supposed to be. Unless you find a community that is actually into helping really people with SSA, which we advocate for, because keeping it to yourself forever, it can help, but only to a certain degree. Okay, unless you of course seek for counseling, you seek for spiritual direction. At least in the Philippines, we have a community like Courage Philippines. I suppose you have heard of Courage Philippines. They help people with SSA, actually, at least in the Catholic perspective. It is important that it is actually for all of us who are struggling with anything, not just SSA, but with any concern in life. It's important that we know that we are not alone in the struggle. We are human beings and we need someone to be with us. We're made to be with other people. So I think it's important to have someone with you, maybe one or two people whom you think can actually really help you, can guide you to this process.
I'd also like to add to Francis, maybe also to just uh, check first or go deeper in that attractions or feelings, yun sa feelings. Kasi mm, sayang minsan yung usual friendship, like friendship lang talaga siya, no? Pero minsan nagkakaroon ng mga label kasi nga since this is so talked about, maybe there's actually nothing to that extent. So I think the kailangan din may makatulong na ma-differentiate yung that a close intimate friendship, because all of us are looking for that an intimate friend relationship with someone, but and sometimes if it's with someone of the same sex, usually nagkakaroon ng biruan na kaagad di ba? Na parang, so minsan siguro actually wala naman, but so I think also to be careful that some might be labeled, but in fact it's a good relationship, simply a good relationship with a friend. So just to put that also.
Yeah. Actually, in addition to what Carmela said, one of the things that I've learned about sa TOB is that all of us are actually looking for that intimacy, which is intimacy. So intimacy. We want to find that someone who sees us for who we truly are. And yun nga, minsan, nagiging romanticized siya. Especially for same-sex attractions. So, for someone with same-sex attraction. So, um, yeah, just trying to find that person who sees you for who you are, for who you truly are, and who accepts you. It doesn't have to be romanticized. So yun yung kailangan matulungan natin na magkaroon ng distinction.
Oh, okay. Very intimacy. And we also have this answer from our participant, Ganda. Yes. Continue being a blessing to others, even if there are times that it is hard to accept yourself. That blessing will eventually become a way for you to understand what's going on inside you better. So by being a gift, you get to understand how you are a gift yourself. Very nice. Yes. Rina, would you like to share our next question?
Okay, our next question is, when did you first realize or feel that you were important, worthy, and deserving of love and happiness? Or in simple words, when did you appreciate your self-worth? Oh, lalim. Who'd like to go first?
Maybe I'd initiate it. Matagal yung air in that time. But siguro it's really at the basic is identifying yourself as a son and daughter of God. Yun yung when in my journey when I was trying to find myself. Who am I at really at the core? What my name is Kirby Liaban. I'm a father and all that. No, I have my profession, but who are you really at the most basic part? And I wrote there, I am a son of God, and everything emanated from there. The worth, the love, the happiness. Because this world can reject you. No, the people can reject you. Even your own family can be a great source of low self esteem and criticism. But if you have that basic concept of being a son and daughter of God, parang everything can be coped with in a sense, right? It everything will make sense. And in that context of being a son and daughter of God, you will realize your giftedness, how you are going to contribute to the salvation of the world or to the betterment of society. And we when we find our purpose in this context, Jan, no? Kasi a lot of the, shall we say, motherhood statements na if you identify yourself lang as according to your bank account, yung self-worth mo, according to your achievements, your MAs and PhDs, these are very fleeting. And then some people will appreciate it, but deep down, you will still feel like there's something lacking in you. And God is that lacking element in your life. How God sees you, how truly God sees you and loves you is the worth, your worth that Jesus died on the cross for you and resurrected, di ba, to give us life.
Thanks, Kirby. Would anyone like to add? Maybe
Um,
Carmela? Oh, yes, go Karen.
okay. I agree with what Kirby also said. No, for me it's also similar when I first experienced yung love of God, of that experience of um yung sinasabi nga, I love you, you are mine. I have formed you in your mother's womb, of how we are created with a purpose in mind, just as we are. So dun pumasok sa akin yung acceptance and self-worth. And also um by siguro share ko lang before, when I don't really like looking at the at myself in the mirror. Kasi nga yun, super baba yung self-esteem ko. I don't really see myself as attractive. Um, it's only when you get to really look at yourself and appreciate what you see in front of you. That's also like another way for me that yeah, pumasok yung self-appreciation. So yun.
Beautiful. So it's not
Nice,
only
thank
just a
you.
recognition ng identity natin as son or daughter of God, but also seeing how you were created, looking at the mirror. Ang ganda. Thank you, Karen.
I'll add,
Yes. Mm.
you know, it might look ironic, but mm, hindi ko alam kung nangyayari sa inyo to, or you've heard stories, no? Ironically, at our lowest moments, when we are actually feeling helpless and down and nothing and wala, yung minsan parang dun na lang natin nakikita na nandiyan si God. No? Um, it's ironic kasi actually minsan kapag okay ang life, hindi natin masyadong iniisip si God, no? Because I guess the answer is, as what Kirby was saying, no, it's God. It's being, it's understanding that we are sons and daughters of God. Pero minsan when things are going okay, parang hindi mo siya masyadong naiisip, no? Or ano lang, sige lang, di ba? Pero yan na nga, pag nagka-crisis ka, or even emotionally, psychologically, you know, when we are lost, when we don't know anymore, I think that's when God, we open our hearts, and that's when God finds Himself being able to enter. When we are able to hear Him, because we really don't know where to go, and once we embrace him and realize that, gosh, you're the only one who won't leave me. Like everyone else can leave me. Everything else can disappear. But you realize that shucks, he's the only one who will give you that worth, of the true worth, and that's where you embrace him forever. That's what I've experienced.
Heart.
Agree,
Yes.
agree. Rock
Francis,
bottom
would you
moment.
like to add something? Yeah.
No, no, I just remembered the song "You Will Be Found." Uh, I'm trying to remember what movie it was from. Because of this question, yeah, maybe you can listen to the song. It's a very nice song. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Thank you. Baka
That's
Carmela can sing it for us. Just kidding.
Hindi
that's
na.
Dear Evan Hansen. Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh, right, right. Dear Evan
Yeah.
Right,
Hansen.
right, right.
Beautiful. All right.
All right. So thank you for your sharing. Now we move on to our next question. The question is, how can I see myself as a child of God, as a woman He created me to be? If I have stained that image by not wanting myself in my life, trying to end it, also by engaging in same-sex relationships and yeah.
This is a tough
Mm,
question, Polo. Uh, I hope I'll be able to answer this. I'll just try to answer this, but it is important that we okay, maybe I'll answer it in a developmental perspective. As a child, normally we're able to do what we just really like doing. Like everything is just free for us. Like our parents are there, our teachers are there, our friends are there. And as we grow older, we begin to realize actually our passions. We begin to realize what we want to do in life. Although sometimes we divert, we go to a different direction. It happens. It happens not just to people in sense with relationships. It happens to everybody. And because of those actions, there's a tendency for us to dwell onto the bad consequences of those actions. To the point that we do not want to be us anymore. And the most important thing is actually the hope is hope. We need to have that hope that it's not the end of the world yet. I tell my students that at the end of the tunnel, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. It's not going to be easy, especially if a person thinks of ending his life or her life because of all the things that he has or she has actually done. And but what is important there is that there is a hope that we can actually still improve. We can still move forward with life. So once a person realizes that um, he does not want himself or herself being like the way he or she is, I think you have to go back to that question: who am I really? Now go to that mirror, face the mirror. Who am I? And it's important to go back also to what Carmela mentioned a while ago, that we being a gift. Although it becomes clouded really when we see all these negative things about us. So we go to the source. Now, where do these things come from? Where did these thoughts come from? Did I just really find these experiences as something negative, and I associated myself, my identity, with those experiences? Because our identity is not just of what we think about, what we say, what we do. It's more than that, and it's not going to be easy. But the truth is, you can be helped. Anyone can be helped. In the world we live in, there's so much things that we can do to help each other. Okay, so if you think of ending your life because of probably the wrong things you've done, because if you're staining yourself from staining or having yourself stained from all the sins that have been committed, well, confession is there. The priest is there. The sacraments are there. There are people who can help. You have to contact them, find them. They're just there. Yeah.
right. Thank you very much, Francis. Actually, when you were answering, I what came to mind was, I don't know if you watched the show The Chosen. It's an American show, The Life of Jesus, very well made, and the very start of the series, it has two series now. I invite you guys to watch it. So the very start, you see Mary Magdalene. This is, well, historical fiction. Right? They try to picture the characters of the Bible, how they might have been, or what their experience might have been. Right? It's not in the Bible, but it's very interesting also. And you see Mary Magdalene and how they portray her as very, very lost, very down, and everything, and just in her conversion moment and how she went through that. But not only that, in the next episode, not just spoiler, but she gets discouraged and goes back to who she was, and yet something happens. Jesus just takes her back. In fact, it was a very nice image of confession, where she was very, like what Francis was saying. Confession because it unloads a lot. Um, I'm speaking about this because, well, I have a group of friends who started this Confessions PH, right? So we really want to help people understand that confession is there, not as a scary box that you have to enter and matatakot ka kasi may mysterious voice on the other side. But it's actually Christ there waiting for you in a room where he keeps closed, not because he wants to scare you, but because he wants to keep your conversation private between both of you. And he wants you to just unload everything talaga, so that he can pick you up and bring you to where you're meant to be. Yeah. So there.
And
Okay.
Paul, may just add a bit. I remember this. Father Joel Hassan spoke about this also this morning. That form of art, the Japanese form of art, that we can be reformed, that we can be transformed after maybe that confession, after whatever you have experienced, whether it's really the worst of all things, can be transformed. As long as we're
Yes.
Yes.
breathing, there is hope.
Yes. Yes. Even
So
when. Sorry. Go ahead, Karen.
sorry. So yeah, I just wanted to affirm like what Francis and Paul has been saying about the importance of not losing hope. So habang may buhay may pag-asa. 'Di ba nga yun yung kasabihan natin, which is very true. There is always hope for redemption. There's always hope for healing. And papasok din talaga dun yung confessions or the sacrament of reconciliation that Paulo was sharing about. The grace that you get from confession actually helps you to slowly overcome the sins that you are also experiencing. Kahit paulit-ulit kang magkamali, kahit paulit-ulit kang madapa, as long as you always stand up and go back to hoping and to seeking that grace, eventually you will find the healing na kailangan mo talaga. So yun, hope and uh, trusting in the merciful God that we have.
Wow, very nice. Thank you. So speaking of uh, reaching where you're meant to be, we have this next question. What is the best advice you can give in finding one's call, especially that he or she is in crisis or has already tried many things?
Yeah, I want to begin with that question. So when you're in crisis, parang things are chaotic eh. Parang gulo, you can't cope. You have problems left, right, above and under. Parang ganyan, no? Chaos talaga siya. But there will be that time where we will try to find a recollection, 'di ba? Kaya may recollection tayo para you can pull yourself together. It is in those times of recollection that you're trying to, arrange your life na. Yung certain priorities na inuna natin dati, pero yung pala dahil inuna natin to, nagkagulo. So, the crisis will help you understand your mistakes. So all of us naman are, at one point nagkakamali din, but there's always hope beyond the mistakes that we make. So yung ano yan, reforming ourselves, our calling becomes clearer and clearer as we realize our mistakes, no? So Don't worry if you go through a lot of crisis. Marami sa buhay yan. Pero to be able to have that clearer view of your life, I would say clarity is not absolute. No? Clarity is an ongoing process. Clarity of calling. How sure am I na ikakasal ako? How sure am I that I'll be a priest, a nun? I would call it to, with some of my students, current clarity. Ano yung maliwanag sa'yo ngayon? What is God allowing you to see right now? Kasi marami sa atin sigurista. No? Kaya kung hindi clear, wala na lang akong gagawin. And that's where we are paralyzed. And that's when we always say, wag na lang, no? Or we are at that state of life na nakapause lang. No? So we don't want that kasi may maging lethargic tayo. We feel meaningless and useless. So we don't want that. So I would say that once you resolve something and you try to consult some people, go through some discernment, then go with that step already. Wag mong isolve lahat agad. Go with that step, and that step will lead you to that calling. Para siyang lampposts na hindi nakabukas lahat ng yung mga poste, pero nakabukas lang yung next 2 steps mo. Pero the next of the 20 steps, ano pa yan, madilim pa yan. Because pag binuksan ni Lord lahat yan, baka ma-overwhelm ka. Baka hindi mo kakayanan, no? Like, who would ever think that I could publish a book? That would be too overwhelming for me. Or maybe Miss Carmela being a TOB speaker when she didn't realize that when she was 14, right? So, I mean, just allow God to lead you and let that crisis speak to you. Because crisis is also where Christ is.
Ang ganda naman nun. Gusto ko lang mag-amen. I agree.
Current
Wow.
clarity. Galing.
Maybe also to as we trust in that step one by one, parang to give the moment, to give to give our ears to God, meaning I think on the spiritual side, God does want to tell us His plan, all the opportunities, the possibilities that we have, no? Kasi hindi naman tayo fate na we have freedom, di ba? As what we said a while ago. So I think God does want to help us so much, but we need to allow ourselves to listen also to that. Meaning, I think yung effort on our part is more of removing obstacles, removing things that might be dragging us to other things or distracting us or just doing our own selfish things, parang ganun. But give the space for God, give the listening moment to God, allow God to speak. So maybe also that's one effort we can do on our part.
Wow.
Allow God to speak. I think may sasagot pa si
We're all
Francis.
still amazed.
I get overwhelmed. I'm amazed with what Kirby said. Also, Carmela. Maybe I'll just say this. I tell this to my students. It's not enough that you try to love God, try to look for yourself. You have to allow Him to also have that encounter with you. Similar with Carmela said, you have to allow Him to touch your heart. You have to allow Him to direct you. Wala eh. That's the only choice we have. Yeah.
San ka pa? Di ba? San ka pa? Kundi kay Kristo. Okay.
Galing. Okay.
Okay, this one.
Sige. I'll read. Many of us hide out of fear because of the uncertainty, because of past discouragements and failure. How can we motivate ourselves to get out of hiding and start seeking?
Yeah,
Let's
I'd like
say-
to. Sorry.
Yes,
go ahead.
thank you, Kirby. Go, Kirby.
Yeah. There's also this aspect called action leads to clarity. Okay. Kasi when you don't do anything, the chaos will remain. But when you just start to do the easiest thing, yung pinakamadali muna. And of course, we want to solve the hardest thing, but if it's too overwhelming, I-arrange mo muna kwarto mo, things like those. Just fix your things. And I would say that things will snowball, no? You'll gain that momentum. Yung fear kasi talaga, no, you can be paralyzed just watching five seasons of some Netflix series, 'di ba? So parang then when the seasons are over, you're back to reality. That's, you're hiding from fear again. So there's a bit of escapism that happens, in our lives. And when that escape mentality happens, parang hindi talaga tayo makapag-overcome. So we have to face our fears. In a sense, face our fears not alone, but like David who faced Goliath with the full might of God in his backing. So wag tayong matakot kasi if we have God with us, then who can be against us? Sabi nga ni Saint Paul, di ba? So I think to motivate ourselves is to know that God is with you. And not only God, your friends are with you. Maraming tao dyan na nagmamahal sa'yo, na sasamahan ka, will accompany you. You know what statement is most reassuring? Pag sinabi mo sa kaibigan mo or pag sinabihan ka, hindi kita iiwan. Hindi kita iiwanan. And in that statement, God has always been telling us throughout the Bible, throughout the Gospels, Old and New Testament. And when a friend tells you that, and if you have someone like that in your life, that's a gift. That person has a gift, and you can be that gift to other persons as well who are afraid. Sabihin mo lang, nandito ako, di kita iiwan, let's walk together. And that's synodality. That's accompaniment. And I think, when you talk about theology of the body, it's really our purpose to be that gift to another person, to walk with that person, para hindi na siya matakot.
Walk with each other. Yes. Thank you, Kirby. Anyone else want to add? Maybe Karen or
Okay.
Ayan.
Yeah. So
All right.
um yeah, so just like what Kirby said, no. Um it's taking one step at a time. First, again, recognizing that you need help, that there is something that you need to be that you need to do, that you need to work on, and taking it one step at a time, isa-isa. And seeking the help that we need. So if you have someone that can be a counselor to you or can accompany you in the journey, someone that can provide you that with the affirmation or the support that you need, then yeah, have that someone to walk with you. So ganun din.
Baby steps and accompaniment. Okay. So, I think this is it, Polo. We have so many questions pa yata na pwedeng i-answer. Kaya lang, I think we're running out of time. So, anything that hindi natin na-answer this afternoon, BK will do its best na para ma-answer in upcoming activities. Okay? So, Polo, you're muted.
Yeah. So you can feel free to message us if you'd like to add more questions also in the Padlet. But you can also email us directly at the Beyond Kilig's email, which is beyondkiligph@gmail.com. You can just send us your questions, your comments. We'd like to know also how you found the course, the conference rather, today. Right? So thank you
Yeah.
again very, very much to our panelists this afternoon.
Yeah.
Rina, what did you think about this afternoon?
I feel like this was God's love letter to me. Ang galing. Thank you so much, speakers and testimony givers. Your answers to the questions and your stories. Parang, it's, one thing that I'm going to take away from this is, pag may crisis or may brokenness, wag tambayan, daanan, kasi may hope. So, one step at a time. And it's possibly the source of kung saan ako magiging victorious. So, thank you so much, speakers. Ikaw, Polo, what did you get?
Yeah, I like how it's really about walking. Not just walking with other people, walking with yourself, walking through what you're going through and all that. But even more, I think the relevance of today that we're having this conference today strikes even deeper because as we walk, God gave us a great companion as well, no?
Yeah,
Saint Joseph.
true.
Ika nga,
Yeah.
ite ad Joseph. Go to Joseph. Right? And I can't help but, remember na mentioned kanina, sa krisis, nandun si Kristo. Right? And so,
Yes. Pang t-shirt
yeah, and
yan.
on, on conference t-shirt. Yeah. So, yeah, no, and then I remembered in the Bible, right? One of the few scenes where we see Saint Joseph is when um, nawala si Jesus, right? Nawala si Jesus aside ni Mary and Joseph. And so whenever that happens to us as well, we can always ask Saint Joseph, Uy, Saint Joseph, Saint Joe, Papa, Kuya, I don't know what you call him. But Saint Joseph, help me find Christ again. Walk with me, help me find him in the temple, right? In
Right.
confession or in the sacrament. Um, and with other people as well. So there,
Right.
what a wonderful day today has been. And I hope
Yes,
everyone takes
indeed.
away something. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we also have a debriefing link. So we have a debriefing form. It was flashed earlier. I think we can flash it again. Share with us your thoughts from this session. Maybe you have something that you want to say there. Andyan yung link and then yung QR code there. Share your thoughts from this session. So thank you so much, participants. We are glad that you joined us today, and we invite you again tomorrow for Healing Block number 3 at 10 a.m. And our topic is breaking the cycle of brokenness. So feel free to continue sending your comments and rewatching the videos and engaging with Beyond Kilig. And now we will close this session with a beautiful prayer to be led by Carmela.
Okay, let's close the session. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we call on you right now in a special way. It is through your power that we were created. Every breath we take, every morning that we wake, and every moment of every hour we live under your power. Father, we ask you now to touch us with that same power. For you created us from nothing. You can certainly recreate us again. Fill us with the healing power of your Spirit. Cast out anything that should not be in us and mend what is broken. We want to be the gift you created us to be. Let the warmth of your healing love, pass through our bodies and our souls and restore us so that we may serve you for the rest of our lives. We ask this through Mother Mary, Saint Joseph, Saint John Paul II, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Father, Son. Amen.
Thank you again, everyone. And
Thanks,
happy feast
everyone.
day, St.
Happy
Joseph.
Feast Day!
Have a good evening, everyone. See you tomorrow.
See ya!